Alrighty guys, welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about how the Canon EOS M can actually be a low-key, great photography camera in 2023. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, stick around and let's jump into it. So just a little background, for the last couple of months I've been actually kind of traveling and living life a little bit differently to normal. In my travels, I've actually been able to test out a few theories I had about the Canon EOS M. Most of my subs on my channel are related to this camera and how amazing it is. And we all know how great this camera is for shooting raw video. But I really wanted to see if this camera could be made to be a decent photography camera, because obviously the form factor of this is incredible. It's so small. The 22mm lens is amazingly small as well, and I thought, you know what, if I could actually get JPEGs out of this camera that I'm happy with, that would be something that I would love to do. That would make me a lot more likely to pick this camera up instead of the X-T4 when we're heading out. So I set about trying to understand, in the same way that Fuji does with the film simulations, how can we, what scope or what room do we have to play with the picture profiles within the Canon EOS M. And to my delight, it seems like there is actually a lot of wiggle room that one can have if you're wanting to get in there and edit the JPEGs of this camera. So first, a little bit about this camera though, if you don't know, or the sensor rather. This is an APS-C sensor. It is an 18 megapixel sensor, and it can shoot raw photos, which is pretty incredible for how cheap and how old this camera is. So in terms of resolution, you've got plenty of resolution there for doing things like social media and different things like that. And yeah, it really just comes down to the colors. Now, Canon colors are known for being great. They're known for being very neutral and very accurate. But I think the whole point of shooting JPEG is that I don't want to have to touch anything to make it look extraordinary. Not just like, oh, that's a color accurate picture, but you want that sort of, you want that flair, or you want that difference in your photos straight out of camera that Fuji does so well with, and I was wondering if we can actually make that happen with the Canon EOS M. So there is a few programs that you can download to help you with this. The first one is called EOS Utility, and what this actually does, once you plug your camera in, it allows you to assign 3 different custom picture styles into your camera. So it allows you to get other picture styles from other people and edit them and do different things through another program called Canon Picture Style Editor. So I'm just going to give a quick run through of how to use these programs. By no means have I dived really deep into how to use this and everything like this. I've kind of just stumbled across a look that I really like pretty quickly, so I'm just kind of sticking with that for the moment. But for those of you who do like to sort of geek out on this sort of stuff, there is a lot of depth and a lot of room to play with these JPEG picture profiles within the Canon EOS M. So let's jump into that now. So I came across a collection that was really good, with a whole bunch of picture profiles that have been made already that are trying to emulate other famous picture profiles or simulations, and that is called the VW Collections by CPS. So if you just Google that, you'll be able to find a download link there for a zip file with, I think it's like over 100 different looks that can be uploaded into the Canon EOS M as a JPEG picture profile. So that's really cool. Something that I found which was kind of cool, and I've kind of noticed this from watching Fuji X Weekly and the different Fuji sims that they come up with there, is that you actually kind of want to mess around with the white balance with the programmable white balance on your camera to try and just get unique or different looks out of your JPEG. So I'm just going to pull this up here and show you if I can. So for example, when you're going into your Canon EOS M, you're going to hit menu, and then you're going to find white balance shift/bracket. and that is where you want to go to there, and that will actually help you kind of dial in some different looks. So you can see here in my current setup, trying to match my favorite Fuji sim at the moment, I've gone a little bit more red and a little bit more pink, I think. Yeah, I'm pushing my tones down into that. I've got it set at auto white balance, so it's not like I've chosen like a 5600 or a 4000 or a 6500 or whatever like that. It's still automatically white balancing, but it's just adding that sort of correction to it, which is giving me a pretty different look, as you can see from some of the samples here on the screen. So a big shout out to Thomas Franson. He's a YouTuber who kind of got me onto this, and how you can mess around with the different picture profiles in your Canon camera. He released California Cowboy look, which he has recently edited to be made available for the Canon EOS M, so big shout out to him. I did a comment on his video ages ago, and he found it and said, hey mate, I've just released it. So he seems like a real legend. But I uploaded that onto the Canon EOS M, and then I kind of did those settings that I just showed you with the custom white balance, and the look's getting very similar. I mean, it's not perfect because it doesn't have the same dynamic range and a lot of the grain settings and stuff like that the X-T4 can give, but in terms of just like if you were just to flash the two pictures quickly or put them side by side, the average person wouldn't be able to tell which one is from which camera. It means that essentially I'm able to get Fuji-ish JPEGs out of this camera. It's only 14-bit raw video is only one click away when I'm using this camera. So I think that the Canon EOS M is a underrated picture or photo camera in 2023. And if you have one, I encourage you to start playing around with all these picture profiles and editing them, downloading that pack that I spoke about, because it's pretty satisfying to whip out a camera that's 10 years old and costs under $200 and can generate some pretty awesome pictures. So if you have any questions about the whole process, put them down below. I'll try and get to them and answer them as much as I can. But other than that, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. So sorry, did forget to add one of the cons of using the Canon EOS M as a photo camera in 2020, goodness, that's gone by quickly, 2023, and that is simply, this is not a low light camera. This really struggles in low light. That is the one place where this camera shows its age, and that it's in its ISO performance. During the day or during a lot of light, this camera can produce very quality images that is somewhat close or indistinguishable to the X-T4 in terms of the colors and the film simulations, but when it comes to low light performance, it's just a big no-no. So I'm about to make a video about my minimalist setup on the X-T4 and the lens that I use to achieve that. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, if you've got a Fuji camera and you're looking for a really minimal light setup for street photography and different things like that, stick around for the next video.